Has Corey Graves been pulled from WWE TV? Elsewhere, SmackDown and TNA stars appeared on last night's NXT, and we have an update on whether or whether not Penta has backstage heat following his debut. It's all in the wrestling news. Hello everybody, Jack and Ross here with more wrestling news for everybody. That makes it sound like it's the second video of the day. It's the first one.
But we do it every day, apart from Sundays.
Apart from Sundays.
So technically it's true.
The big thing everyone's talking about at the minute in wrestling is Corey Graves.
Oh yeah.
Now, at first people were saying, why has he tweeted that? And then people were saying, oh, it's a work, it's not a work. We've got a bit more of an update on what might or might not be happening here.
Yeah, so yesterday afternoon, Corey Graves tweeted he had something to say on last night's NXT with a microphone thingy. There was a flame emoji. And at that point, everyone was thinking, wow, the initial tweet about being unhappy with the treatment he was received going from the main roster down to across to NXT, he wasn't happy with that. We all thought it might have been a work with the view to potentially Corey Graves getting back in the ring. People found the reports that he got cleared back in 2017 or 2018, one of those 2 years. And we're thinking, what are we doing here? But no, there has been an update. He was spotted at an airport leaving the area where the show was yesterday.
Yeah, so he wasn't on the show at all. He wasn't on NXT last night, despite all this intrigue heading into the show. And then was spotted by sources close to PW Insider at TSA Orlando Airport hours before the show. Fightful's Corey Brennan also reports that according to his NXT sources, Graves was legitimately frustrated with the NXT move. And when I read his initial tweet, the thing that kicked this whole thing off, where he said, imagine pursuing your dream, then being told you can't do it, then doing like a dream adjacent job, aka his commentary role, and then being told, oh, you're not famous enough. Bit of a shot there maybe at the likes of Pat McAfee.
And Joe Tessitore.
And Joe. That read more like a legitimate venting of frustration than it did a promo, a worked kayfabe sort of thing. But there was no way of telling. But these signals seem to indicate that it was real.
It looks like a shoot. Instead of a work. And that's where we find ourselves now. The report continues. Despite Graves' frustration with being taken off his commentary position, one source close to Fightful this time said they'd be shocked that Graves wasn't back on Raw and SmackDown in a few months' time. Owen Durry's consistent shuffling of the announcers to that sort of thought there.
Yeah, on one hand, yes. But on the other hand, are they not going to try and maybe keep a more concrete announced team in place, given the Raw and Netflix debut and everything, and maybe want to keep the same level of consistency on SmackDown as well?
That is the big difference, isn't it? The fact we've just moved to Netflix now. Raw specifically has moved to Netflix now. SmackDown's obviously shown on Netflix as well. In certain parts of the world, do you think this new start? We've had new champions, crowd, everything feels new. So the fact he's been moved aside, I would be, especially with Pat. I've got an issue with Pat. I think Pat's getting worse as time goes on. He's just making noises, not really contributing to making the show better. It's all about him just making people laugh, which I don't quite agree with. I thought him and Michael Cole initially in Pat's first run, having a good time just watching wrestling, was a breath of fresh air, but he's got worse and worse and worse. So if I was Corey Graves, who is legitimately a fantastic commentator, and adds to the story being told in the ring, instead of just going, oh, like Pat does from time to time, I would be frustrated as well with how things have panned out.
Everything you just said there could also, though, apply to your favourite colour commentator, Booker T.
Absolutely not.
Okay, fair enough.
He makes up his own story and just does what he wants.
Whereas Booker's actually he's enhancing the show.
NXT's bollocks, we all know this, but for a large part. And Booker T adds to the bollocks. Pat just takes away from the serious nature of the main roster products.
Fair enough. On last night's NXT, we saw several names from SmackDown, not Corey Graves, who actually I suppose is technically part of NXT now anyway, as part of the show. Bayley appeared and she talked to Roxan Perez. She offered some advice to what Perez does next because she's recently lost the NXT Women's Championship. Roxanne didn't take too kindly to this and words got heated. Then she slapped, one of them slapped the other. What, Perez slapped Roxanne?
It was all kicking off just as the show went off the air. They crammed it in there like Dwayne did last week, got in there just before the show went off the air. Yeah. I thought Roxanne had turned face because she's like, well, all I wanted to do was to create a women's division that you were really proud of. And then she's like, well, the worst thing about the women's division now is that I'm not the champion. Ba, 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 ba. You need your four horsemen once upon a time, and then four horsewomen, and then Bayley comes out to a great pop from the shed.
I think that's a good feud. I think that's a good one, especially, does it also signify perhaps that they want Roxanne to move up to the main roster soon, and this is like a bit of a trial run with a main roster superstar?
Bayley could be going for a stand and deliver showdown with Roxanne WrestleMania weekend.
I read a Reddit comment not 5 minutes before we started recording that said that they were assuming how many women's matches are going to take place over the 2 nights of WrestleMania, and they couldn't fit Bayley in, and their point was this might be what Bayley's WrestleMania weekend match is.
That was my Reddit comment.
That was you?
That was me.
Wow.
It wasn't me, but
Fair
I
enough.
agree with that comment.
We also had TNA Knockouts World Champion Masha Slamovich in the crowd on last night's show. This marks her NXT debut. She wasn't wrestling though. According to Vic Joseph, she was there to scout the NXT talent, teasing a future match perhaps with someone like Cora Jade, who she had a brief stare down with as Cora made her way to the ring.
Interesting. That's all I've got to say about that.
TNA, the TNA stuff crops up a little bit more when Rumble season approaches, because they, in the past year or two, have loved having whoever the TNA champion is at the time in the match. We've seen Mickie James do it. We've seen Jordan Grace do it. We could see Masha Slamovich do it. On the men's side of things, could it be Joe Hendry by the time the Rumble rolls around?
Yes, it will be.
He's challenging for it.
Well, I will be.
Oh.
Of course he will be. JBL be damned.
I think we'll see JBL try and help Nemeth again. But Joe's ready now. He's done his homework. Ducks the clothesline from hell. Imagine the bump Ziggler could take off a clothesline from hell, and that's going to leave the way open for Henry to
Billy
win.
Gunn at WrestleMania 18.
A man that size shouldn't be able to move like that. Also, the big news this week was, of course, the debut of officially the second best luchador of all time, Penta, on Monday Night Raw.
Some say Rey Mysterio is the best, but Penta's a close second.
Cole said it. We'd barely seen this new guy for like 5 seconds, and Cole was like, well, Rey's the best one, but this guy, he's the second best one.
I guess they do sell loads of t-shirt with GOAT and Rey's mask on, so they can't scrap all them and just put Penta and Rey on the same t-shirt, can they?
I heard that apparently on a recent Wrestling Observer Radio, Meltzer was like, well, it's just pathetic because El Santo's clearly the best of all time.
Well, Penta's not even the best luchador in his own family, actually, Dave. Semantics.
Which one do I prefer out of the two?
Oh, Rey.
I think I prefer...
Just as a bell-to-bellman.
Rey Fenix, of course. I think I prefer Penta. I don't know. It's a close one. Fightful have confirmed what many of us suspected about Penta's debut, saying that originally Penta was slated to appear as Rey Mysterio's tag partner in a match against the New Day, but Fightful and also me, really, nobody's sure why that didn't happen. I guess they want to prolong the New Day storyline a bit.
Yeah, and then you did it like in between the segments promo that we get to see over here in the UK on Netflix, where they were like, Kathy Calais, our TV time is running out, sorry, when she was trying to press them for more answers, basically. So they are going to try and drag this out, I think. Fair
enough. We also got one of those little segments that international viewers see where Rey was being interviewed in front of the crowd during the ad break, and he put over Penta. He said, he's really, really good, but also then furthered this bubbling feud with the New Day. So I think we are probably going to get that match at some point in the near future. On the day of Penta's debut, there was a merch leak as well, because it was kept a secret, but then everyone went, hang on, this Penta merch is available on sale. Fightful says that the debut was, according to WWE, a happy accident, but then Fightful themselves say there's reason to doubt that was the case. I would probably agree.
Well, yeah, because last week on the Netflix debut on Raw, we had the promo where it said Penta on the screen, and then we had the mystery opponent for Chad Gable, and then we had the merch. It came from an official WWE account, so I don't think it's a happy accident, unless someone hit the send button a bit too early, which I doubt, based off how normally they would pull a certain thing like that, wouldn't they, if they realised they made a mistake, but it just grew and grew and grew over all the platforms.
It doesn't feel as it's not like the one. Do you remember during the middle of Kofi Kingston versus Daniel Bryan, Kofi Mania, someone somehow thought, I'll just check WWE shop, and then tweeted that they'd seen Kofi Kingston new champion merchandise and stuff. You think that was an accident?
Yeah, maybe. That's more of an accident than this one, that's for sure.
Yeah, 100%. Fightful also adds that Penta was backstage throughout the day and wasn't hidden. It wasn't like a work the locker room kind of, like when CM Punk arrived last minute at Survivor Series or anything like that. He'd taken part in several photo shoots and was mingling with talent throughout the day.
I would love to see what that looks like.
Fraser hates him, you know.
Why?
Hates his taunt. Sometimes Fraser will do an impression of his taunt. He goes like, bleh.
Well,
hates him.
Down with Fraser, up with Penta.
I don't know if he hates the wrestling that Penta does. I think he just hates the taunt.
The taunt's a fantastic thing.
He hates the taunt and the frequency with which he does it throughout the match.
Jeremy Hayden. I would. If I had a catchy catchphrase like that, I'd be saying it all the time.
Me too. Also, there were reports emerging from Raw that Penta's match had gone long, or especially the post-match promo had gone long as well, which a lot of people went, gone long, but Raw doesn't have like a hard time limit anymore.
But it did.
But it did.
And also last night there was dark matches that apparently they had to fill in. There was 2 dark matches. One was Bayley versus Nia Jax, and the other one I can't remember what it was.
The big question is whether there's heat on Penta following that segment overrunning on Raw. Fightful reports, when we spoke to a higher up, they said they hadn't specifically heard of heat on Penta, and if there was heat, it should have been on whoever decided there needed to be a hard out on the show. Among talent Fightful spoke to, they claimed they didn't hear of heat on Penta, and most everyone was aware of what the moment meant to him and his family, and the roster was happy for him. It's a nice story.
Yes.
It's a lovely one to end the video.
It is, aye. Down with whoever said we needed a hard out and 2 dark matches to cram in within the time span of what your ticket lasted for inside the arena.
But also his promo was very nice. It was his family were there, looking very emotional. He did some of it in Spanish. They were in San Jose, and by the sounds of it, they've got a large Spanish-speaking population. Everyone was buzzing.
Yes.
He said one thing that I didn't understand, but everyone went, "Oh!"
Because it was in Spanish.
Yeah, and I was like, "Well, why? Well, I want to know what he said," because the crowd all went, "Ooh!"
I reckon someone's translated that on Twitter, so just search it down. I believe in you.
Fair enough.
I believe in you. What the hell's going on?
Oh, thank you very much.
Move on.
I believe in Tom Campbell, who has chatted to Chelsea Green on the channel recently. That'll be out tonight following her crowning as the first WWE Women's United States Champion. She talks about the upcoming UK tour, her match against Penta in Lucha Underground, and her plans for a Divas Open Challenge for the United States Championship.
And also I hear there might be rumblings of discontent between her and Piper Niven within this interview.
Oh my goodness me. Well, we'll all have to look forward to that.
I'm just a messenger, don't I?
Leave your thoughts and opinions on any of these stories, but especially that last little snippet
You have
of
to watch the
info
interview
there.
to see what I'm talking about, but I have heard through the grapevine.
Wow.
The Tom Campbell-shaped grapevine.
That there's rumblings of it. Oh.
Goodness me.
She's a Secret Service woman.
Was.
Thank you very
No,
much
that's
for...
not that bad. It might be coming up soon. It might just be silly bollocks. Who knows?
It might be.
Yes.
Thank you very much for watching this video. I've been Jack. This has been Ross. Leave your thoughts in the comments section down below. And have you got anything else you want to
No,
know?
nothing.
Me
No.
neither. Oh, Twitch tonight with Owen Mawson. Twitch.tv/Cultaholic from 6 p.m. UK time. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you very soon.